Yeah, I know I said I'd be on at 11:11 yesterday, but I don't get paid for this shit. And I was tired and went to sleep. Sorry. But anyway, we're here. So, hope I caught you at a good time. But again, you could watch this whenever the fuck you want. That's wonderful. Anyway, today we're going to talk about Facebook, social media, the cesspool. You know, um, over the last couple days or weeks, or it wasn't weeks, it was weeks. But anyway, there was a video circulating, and I'd like to thank all my Facebook friends and not friends, or not really friends, and followers, etc., for not sending me that fuck shit ass video. I was shocked and appalled when I started seeing the descriptions and the posts about it. You know, it's a very disgusting thing, and as a father of a 7-year-old daughter, uh, it's scary. You know, for all you know, for lack of a better word, or for the only word I could find for how fucked up that shit is. But anyway, we've got a couple. All right. This guy who I'm looking up the name, uh, God, my fucking Google searches are gonna be crazy now. Um, but you know, this guy apparently decided that he was going to share his child pornography on Facebook like it was popping. Um, and he shared a video having sex acts with his 6-year-old daughter. You know, it makes me sad. And as I Google this nonsense, uh, you know, there's a shit ton of these people all out, maybe all throughout the country, but it seems like, the place of origin for these motherfuckers seems to be the deep South. Go dirty South. I mean, y'all down South niggas not to catch a L. Like, I'm gonna look at all y'all with a side eye from here until. Because, you know, to be honest with you, this dude looks like the type of dude that would put a fez on, or some dashiki on, and be right next to you at some lecture. He looks like a guy that you get those random friend requests from them creepy dudes, and that's what this guy looks like. But anyway, this 44-year-old man is accused of abusing 3 children, not just his daughter, um, in Alabama and in Detroit. Uh, you know, this guy's name is Jermaine Moore. And the worst part about this is that, and just like that video with the girl in church, and she outs her mother for allowing her boyfriend to carry on sexual activity with her over the course of some years. The mother is involved, and like you can't hide shit like that from somebody living in the same house. And I'm very sorry for anybody who, I don't believe you. I don't. If you're living with 2 people and those 2 people are having relations, how do you not know? How do you not come home and see the change in your child? Because that's the reality of it. When shit like that happens, you change. Shit. We all understand that when we went through puberty and we had our first sexual experiences at a more appropriate age with more appropriate people, I'm sure our parents noticed the change. You understand what I'm saying? When you go through those big life things, and then when you add that level of trauma, that is not something that a father does with his daughter, and nature tells you that. It feels strange. So I'm just really trying to understand how someone could even say they didn't know, because it's bullshit. And this woman may get less time, but again, like I think she should have her womb excavated so that she can't have any more children. I think that if you're a mother and your husband or a man that you brought into your home abuses your child like that, not only should you lose your child, you should lose the ability to have the child. Period. But hey, I'm been called a fascist. But and it's disgusting. It's disgusting because then when women who are abused grow up and whatever mechanisms go off in their mind, it makes it very hard to live a quote unquote normal life, to have quote unquote normal relationships with people, especially those of the opposite sex. You understand what I'm saying? And it's really crazy. You know, here's the other part that's crazy. Some of you motherfuckers watch that video. Some of you motherfuckers watched the video and shared the video and said, "Oh, look at this. This is disgusting. Watch this." Like, y'all motherfuckers are horror junkies, man. Horror junkies. Y'all watch these videos, all of these countless police shootings, all these countless brutalizing videos of people being beaten, and I've seen videos of cannibalism and all of this, all this crazy shit, and you desensitize yourself to the realities of it. But all of us suffer from the ramifications of this type of abuse that we allow to run rampant in our society daily. Okay? When I was a kid, I remember they had this video that used to circulate around, and everybody in school would talk about it, and it was like you had to see it. It was called Faces of Death. If any of y'all remember Faces of Death, and there was all kind of suicides and things like that, and what you do to your psyche from watching shit like that, it makes it easier to see it in real life, even perpetrate those kind of sick acts. Okay? It's one thing when you watch the cattle video and you decide that you don't want to eat meat anymore because you see the crazy way that animals are slaughtered in order to make food. Okay? But it's another thing entirely to watch one of your fellow human beings be victimized in such a heinous way. I don't know what to say to people who get turned on by shit like that. Because I realize that some people, it's not just oh, this is crazy, look at this world. You are excited. It's the mentality of the people that go in a restaurant and get nasty food and want everybody else to taste how nasty the food is. You're excited by the attention it may get. You are so caught up in the conversation that, you're not a news outlet. That's not even your purpose. Because some of y'all shared the video and y'all didn't call the authorities. You just shared the video. You didn't even try. You know, this dude was running around for some time after this video circulated. You know? And it's fucked up. It's fucked up because our society isn't set up to protect children. It's not. You know, we went through stopping child labor. And that was that was many, many moons ago. But in the battle to stop child labor, and we didn't want children working in these coal mines, and didn't want, according to DJ Trump, coal is the new thing. But we didn't want children working in the coal mines, right? Where they may have been making nominal money, but at least they were etching out a way for their family, right? Children can't work. That's just what we say. As a society, there are children who own their own businesses and things like that. Shout out to my little nephew. But as a whole, a child can't go in a dangerous factory and work. So why is it that we pay no attention to our children being around dangerous people? That's an afterthought. I'm out here in the Capitol, and on a regular happenstance, I watch as many parents just send their children out in the street. Go walk to school. 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds. Go walk to school by yourself. Like it's the 1950s. And for real, like who knows if it was even safe then. We live in this society, man, and we have to make some serious alterations because I'm gonna be honest with you. The government, the social contract that citizenry has with its respective governments. What do you do when the government isn't holding up its end of the bargain? What do you do when you're put in these situations when, in order to etch out a life for yourself and to feed the child, you have to work so much that you can't care for the child? You have to put it in the care of a stranger who sits all day on Facebook scrolling, watching horrific things and poisoning their mind. Because here's the deal, like, if you're dumb, you can't watch shit like that. If you're not, like really, you have to be mentally trained not to be affected by shit like that. Okay? Now, I don't know, some people may say that, all of these wars and things like that and the horrors of war and bringing that war back home may cause some type of trauma. I don't know too much about the guy beyond he's from Alabama, and if you from the deep South, just know this: I don't even want you around my child like that. Real talk. Because there's some culture there. There's a culture where, and not to sound like a he feminist, but women are not just for sexual pleasure. But by the same respect, if you bring a man into your house with children, then you better figure out how to fucking suck that motherfucker dry. Then, if you know he's nasty like that, then you better make sure that motherfucker don't have an urge to be with your child. And when it's time to leave, you don't leave your child with no man. And unfortunately, I mean, shit, you can't leave your child with nobody. In reality. We got to get off of this. I got to go to the club. I'm going to drop my baby off over here. Because it ain't going to work, man. Some of y'all have relatives that have abused you in your families. and then you have children, and what do? Drop them off. Your grandmother knows your uncle's a fucked up motherfucker, but she leave him in the house with the kids. And we live in a society that becomes, that becomes regular happenstance because people got to work. People are stressed out. I talked to the most enlightening conversation I've had in the last 2 years was with I was driving for Uber at the time, right? Fuck Uber, by the way. But I was driving for Uber, and the app took me to a Sikh temple, out in Maryland. And I picked up this guy, and we sat in the car, and it's weird. Like when DJ Trump came on the forefront, for some reason, now this race conversation has become like this open dialogue, and nobody really looks at it in its proper perspective. But what he said to me was, I'm from India. I've lived in Europe. Those are really racist places. Those are places where it's not aggressive. It's just accepted that you're beneath someone of a fairer race. In America, no matter who you are, there are certain opportunities that are afforded to you here that aren't afforded to you in other places. So, what he said was, it's not racism, it's mental illness. It's the fact that we're alone. It's the fact that you have a huge family and you live in a 1-bedroom apartment all by yourself. You work with, you live with strangers every day. And the problem with that is that once you get into this mode where everyone that you meet is a stranger and you feel anonymous, you start feeling like what you do and your part in the world doesn't matter, and you could do whatever and it don't matter. And that's what I see. And when I look at this whole, because let me tell you something, right? When I Googled the shit to find out this fuck nigga's name, and not to mention the mama, but I found 5 other cases. So before we start the ranting, because this is what's going to happen next, is that everybody's going to talk about how horrible black men are because these few black men molested their daughters, molested their stepdaughters, molested their girlfriends' daughters and sons in some cases. This is something that happens in every race in this country. It's not a racial thing. It's a societal thing. It's the fact that we live in a government that is geared up to drain us of money for fucking no reason other than to get more power. Facts. Facts. But here's the thing. Lawlessness is not synonymous to anarchy. We got to get rid of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because the laws are set up by these people. The people that are writing our laws. They just caught another politician. I think it was in like I want to say Colorado, and they caught him in a hotel with a 17-year-old boy. So the people that are writing our laws are the same people that would carry out this kind of shit because they figure I won't get caught or I'm too powerful to get caught. Maybe, perhaps we could blame sexual repression, but I don't think there's much repression in this society. I mean, you could buy a fucking robot to fuck you and do whatever you want in this society, but there's still people who are victimizing children. And yes, I don't give a fuck whether the child said yes or no, because that's the new thing on the horizon, right? Because, and this is something I want you to think about in terms of liberalism. Liberalism is opening Pandora. Liberalism stands in reality for opening Pandora's box. And liberals are, to me, I find liberalism an insult. And I'll tell you why. Because to my understanding, liberalism started from the civil rights movement that we know of today, right? The idea of liberalism started from the civil rights movement and abolition, etc. So basically what American society said, if it's okay for the niggas to be free and live regular lives like everybody else with 2 arms and 2 legs, a head, shoulders, etc., then hey, anything goes. That's what liberalism stands for. Anything goes. And that is not anarchy. That's not anarchy, at least in my conception of anarchy. Anarchy is, I know who my neighbors are. So if I want my neighbors to be all right with me, I got to be all right with them. I don't need a police officer to tell me not to. Because if you're hungry, I'll feed you. If I'm hungry, you feed me. If I'm cold, I bring you inside, or I help you build a house. Because that's the way society used to be when the shit was functional. Now it's not. It's not functional anymore. This is the most dysfunctional society. I don't know if I can say it's the most. But the thing about this society is it laws itself at being the greatest place in the world. And this is what we get. If America was so great, this wouldn't be happening. And you can't blame that shit on illegal immigration. That's the same as when religious people say, oh, no, you know, it's not us, it's the devil that made, you know. No. This is stupid. And now we created this social media shit. Oh, peace to God. Corey, Mr. H2O, man, you know, you gotta, you know, get at that page, Jabez Black August. Follow me back, nigga. Let me follow you. I love some beats from you. Come holler. But absolutely. When I would say this, I think that when class was static, meaning that you had this overclass and they were the overclass, right? And you couldn't break that veil because it was about breeding and things like that. And then, you know, you had these societies like in China, we had the Forbidden City where the emperor never met a real person before. And the person who runs the society never meets the people because they're too revered. And we started deifying one person. That's where it came from, because that's the thing. Like, a lot of us is like, when you look at somebody like Roman Polanski, we all made, we look at somebody like R. Kelly, we look at somebody like, you know, the myriad of other very shifty and creepy celebrities. We look at them like they you know, they're beyond reproach. So if, you know, if R. Kelly want to pee on little girls and run a fucking adolescent girls cult, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? If the king, you know, like if you've ever seen that old Mel Brooks movie, History of the World, and you know the famous line is, "It's good to be the king." It's good to be the king, and you know he runs up in the thing and starts fucking his dude's wife, you know, because he can. That idea, you know, I think that idea created because that's what the class structure creates, and you know, honestly, it has to go. All of it has to go. Everything that we've done thus far in the 20th century, you know, and moving, you know, the 20th century, the 19th century, all these things that we've created, all of these nuances that came with the technological advances, they got to go. If we want a healthy society where people can be safe, because let me explain something to you. That little girl, when she gets older, the likelihood that a man that she brings into her house, that she may have a child with, or have a child you know the deal. The likelihood that she's gonna let that other person do whatever to her child becomes greater. You know what I'm saying? And you know, unfortunately, that's the reality. So now we have this perpetual cycle that doesn't change. Hey yo, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna tell you like this, Corey, man. Like when I moved down here, I was disgusted because growing up, there were dudes like that out there, but nobody fucked with them. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like it was an acceptable cultural thing. But the first spot I moved to in DC was off of Southern Avenue, over there by Brandywine, over in the hood, right? And there was this corner store, and it was like a strip mall. It was like a corner store, liquor store. It's over there by I forget the name of that hood, but there used to be these old men that were you know on the street. I mean, you know, these niggas be out in front of the liquor store drinking and hanging out as niggas do. And I used to get off the bus right there coming back from work when we used to work together. And I used to get off the bus and it would be about, you know, school letting out, and there'd be like the little girls in their school uniforms and shit like that walking home. And niggas would be hot, like I'm talking about like 60-year-old, 40, 50-year-old men is hollering at these little girls like it's the club. And it was just normal. And, you know, where I'm from, you get your ass beat, period. Niggas is not letting that go down. It's not looked at as normal. You know? Like, and I realized something about myself, man. Like when I came down here and had a daughter, like my whole attitude was like crazy. And then I realized like my son ain't safe. None of these motherfuckers, like your children ain't safe. Because it's cultural. These people feel like it's cultural. Okay? And we can and here's the thing, right? And I've seen this argument, right? That, oh well, you know, in ancient societies, you know, like the Prophet Muhammad had a 9-year-old daughter, and but here's the problem, right? Most people equate marriage with sex, and in those cultures, marriage was not equated with sex like that. Sometimes it was equated with protection. So an adult may marry an orphan little girl, or a poor man may, it was almost like adoption more so than it was marriage. Facts. You know what I mean? I feel for you, man. Like that's why I try to, you know, I'm work hard every day to make sure that my child is not a zombie. To be alert, watch out for motherfuckers. Don't trust people. You know, and it's hard because we keep talking about this whole unity aspect. How can we have unity? How? How? Because I'm gonna tell you like this: the whole community in that Detroit neighborhood, in that Alabama community, they knew about this nigga. They knew about this nigga. Ain't nobody run up in the house to save that girl. Teachers knew. Nobody saved that girl. How can we have unity when most of us are too cowardly to stand up for what's right? How can we have unity? Facts. Facts. You know, like even in the Caribbean, like you have these situations where an adult man will see a little girl and, you know, they're trying to groom a wife for when they get older. So they'll pay the family to I'll make sure she goes to school and things like that for her hand in marriage in the future sometimes. And sometimes it's just as sleazy as here. But, you know, that's the concept. And I could dig that. Like I find this, you know, 15-year-old girl, she's gonna be beautiful one day. I have some money. I'd like to make sure that not only is she beautiful in looks, I want to make sure that she's a beautiful in mind and spirit and things like that. I'm going to support this girl. I wouldn't personally do it, but I can understand that. But that's not what's going on here. These motherfuckers are just like I see grown ass men lusting after children. Facts. They've exploited it. And that's the thing, like when you open a door for that, and this is the thing about exploitation in your personal life and beyond, like the science is this: if you let somebody slide once, you've created a pattern. And we need to get in a society where, like, if you are a pedophile, and now it's sick now, because here's the flip side, right? This is the flip side, is that you also have women who will ignore the real pedophile and coach their children to get back at other men. There's that too. There's that part. There are women who have children by their family members and then try to blame it on somebody else in the community. So we have to fix this shit, man. But you know, the crazy part is, man, like this whole, hold up, Hotep section. So we just went through this whole Leo eclipse, right? I'm a Leo. So, you know, Corey, you know me, man. I'm honest to a fault. I'm blunt. And during this Leo moon, like, look at all the shit that popped off during this whole eclipse phase, right? Because I always just say, like, I just want a world where everybody will be honest. Stop fronting, right? And then we have this fucking tree jumper who then decides, you know what, I've been fucking my children for years. I'm going to share it on Facebook. And when he does that, voila, the children can be rescued from that living torture. And, you know, I pray the way I do that child gets some assistance and get some substantive help. But I also fear that the psychology don't fix people. It just makes people feel better with their dysfunction. And maybe some of that is the problem, is that, you know, you can't fix these people. Like once somebody's been poisoned, like it's like Usual Suspects and the story of Kaiser Sose, right? When he said the mob ran up in Kaiser Soze's house and they raped his daughter and raped his wife in front of his sons and all of that trauma. And when Kaiser Soze saw that, he killed them all. Because he knew, like, they would, like, you really, what quality of life were they going to be able to lead? And he decided to kill his family and then avenge their deaths to the people who did it. You know, because And I'm not advocating that you kill the little girl. So, you know, all you fucking weirdos, don't say that. But what I'm saying is, shit that we accept don't fucking work. Government doesn't work. It doesn't. If you can't protect a child, I don't respect the police. I don't respect the police because the police spend their time trying to see if I'm committing a crime and breeze past. Like, because let's not forget, the Metropolitan Police Department was harboring several pedophiles. Facts. How can it, like, yeah, man, but you know, but like let's not forget that, man. The Metropolitan Police were harboring pedophiles. The U.S. Senate harbors pedophiles. There's a movement in America called the North American Man-Boy Love Association, or NAMLA for short. And this is a lobbyist group who lobbies for the rights of pedophiles. Because here's the deal, right? Old Jermaine Moore, he ain't gonna do more than 5 fucking years and he's gonna be back on the street. Understand that. Understand that Nicki Minaj's brother is not gonna be in jail forever, but he will be a pedophile till he dies. Understand that. Why is it that a pedophile can feel safe in America, but a child can't? Facts. Hey, yo, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm talking about with liberalism, though, Cole. Like, liberalism is letting anything go, man. Like, I want everybody who sees this to give the House of Consciousness some free smoke. And last year or the year before last, at the Afro Punk Festival, they were covering that, and they got into a conversation with an interracial couple, okay? And it was a European and an Asiatic sister, right? And they asked the European, you know, what do you think about interracial relationships? And he says, well, you know, in this crazy world, like if you can find love, you know, you should go where you find love. Sounds beautiful, right? But then they asked him about bestiality. And he said, yeah, you know, in this crazy world, if you can find love, you should find love. You understand? That is the mentality of liberalism. Exactly. It's too fucking broad, man. And that's the problem. Liberalism just wants to get everybody who's not conservative. But some of the people that's not conservative shouldn't even be able to vote. If we caught you fucking an animal or a child, like how the fuck do black people have to sign a special petition to be able to vote, right? Every 25 years. But if you get caught fucking a dog, you can vote. Because a lot of people that fuck dogs voted for Trump. Think about that. You know? But you know, this shit is crazy, man. And you know, people got to get shit together, man. But anyway, we're at that 40-minute mark. I don't want to do this, you know, we ain't gonna be here forever because most people ain't gonna watch it for 40 minutes. But you know, thank you much. This is Bullshit After Dark. I am Jabe. Make sure you go like us on YouTube. I Call BS Radio. On SoundCloud, I Call BS Radio. And peace.